Boom, let's get it. I'm gonna talk in getting a Section 8 tenant, right? You have to make sure that you do this process correctly because this is what people seem to talk the most shit about, and this is the main reason why they don't do Section 8 because they have the wrong information or they just had a bad experience because someone took action upon the wrong information. So let's go straight into it. These are the ways to find a tenant, right? You should already know what a Section 8 tenant is. You should already be knowing what you're looking for. You just need to figure out where to look for them. Number one place is affordable housing. That's because most of the government programs redirect people to this website. So this is like the main hub that they go to, right? And it's honestly very clutch because you get to see everyone's information. You can contact them if you have the premium version. I would recommend getting it. I have it myself. The next one is apartments.com. A lot of people look there next just because it's in the name, like apartments, or just obviously if you get an apartment, you're trying to rent. Then Facebook Marketplace, you just make a post. Upon there, you're going to deal with a lot of bullshitters. Um, onto Facebook Marketplace. However, there are good people that you could come across, probably like 50-50, sometimes even 75-25. Facebook Marketplace is good. Craigslist is good. Getting a direct referral from the property management company you decide to work with is very, very good because this person's going to be vetted and they're already in their database, so they know that this person is not full of shit. Alongside that, the only thing you have to be wary for is some people do charge like a month's worth of rent for housing that tenant for you, like that's just getting it and doing the whole process for you. So you have to make sure that you're okay with that. Sometimes it's honestly worth it because you deal with the headache being relieved. And alongside that, you're in a position where you only sacrifice 1 month for having a tenant that's going to pay you for 5 to 10 years, right? Well, should I put Facebook Marketplace twice? But anyways, you know what I mean. Just Facebook Marketplace on foot marketing. So if you have a property management company in place, you could go and tell them to put posters or little papers on the wall or on poles outside of high volume areas like a grocery store. That's basically going to say like, oh, this property is for rent, 7 bed, 2 bath, or 3-1 or 4-1, and that's going to drive people to manually see it, obviously on foot. Take like a piece of paper, rip it, contact you, message you, call you, whatever the hell it is. Or you go with the lowest of the low, which is like Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. A lot of people on there kind of just like bullshitting. But like I said, it's with everything. You just have to screen them properly and make sure that you're not wasting your time. You can go and find some really good people on here. Honestly, we have some tenants that literally just came through here simply because they were trying to buy a house, couldn't afford it, now they're looking to rent. So, excuse me because I do feel kind of sick right now, so my voice might sound like shit. How to treat the screening process, right? You obviously want to make your listing, basically say every single detail about the house once you have the property under contract and obviously closed. Have some good pictures from the Zillow. Make sure you market it properly. Alongside that, have a position. Make sure that you look at the FMR, put it around there. The lower that you put it, the more volume you're going to get. But also, when you have more volume, there's a higher chance of just getting a bunch of bullshit ass tenants. Alongside that, if you increase the number of the rent monthly rent because you're marketing it as just a renter as opposed to like Section 8, if you do that, you're going to get lower volume, but they're going to be high quality. In the bio, you want to say that you're accepting Section 8 vouchers so people understand that and they actually don't hesitate to reach out if there's someone that has a voucher and they think, oh, maybe this person doesn't want to work with it. Because in reality, it's considered discrimination if you don't, but you're not obligated to accept it, right? How do you treat this process, right? You already made your listing on social media or wherever the hell that you made it, right, from this list that I said previously. How should you treat it? Put all the information from Zillow, everything, the inspection, everything. Right? You want to market it well, but market it well, but leave curiosity for people to reach out. But how do you treat that after you make them reach out? You want to treat it like a sales process. You need to be fast. The faster a lead gets in contact with you and actually has a conversation with you, the faster you're going to close. Right? In this case, become a tenant. So if someone calls you and you don't answer, you don't call them back for 3 days, the interest is going to be gone. You have to source someone. You have to hit someone right when they're interested. And people often either answer the phone a lot or don't answer at all. So you need to make sure that you catch them in that window. So you need to be fast, very fast, and you need to be punctual because that's going to set the authority. If you tell them you're going to call them back in 5 minutes, you better call them back in 5 minutes. Have the right property management team, right? You want to make sure that you are doing your end in regards to making sure you don't waste the property management's time. But if you're paying this person, make sure they're actually doing work, right? If you find the right property management team, they're going to handle the applications, the credit checks, the income checks, all the above. Be careful with marketing a property prior to closing, right? If you have not closed this property, you're marketing this property, you're going to want people that want to see it, that want showings. But if you're not able to actually help them, then you're essentially just going to have people that are kind of pissed off because they're interested in something right now and you can't show it them because it's technically not yours anymore. You might be able to work something out like that and get some leads going through the process and maybe be able to do some showings if you know you're going to close. But something can come up and you may not close. So you can do it if you know you could do it if you know you're going to close to start getting some people ready. So then as soon as you close, boom, you just get a tenant into the door. But it can turn out bad. So just be careful with marketing like that. Alongside that, make sure you take down the information of all of the people, right, that you're either helping or you're not necessarily helping, but you know that you can help in the future, right? So, for example, someone hit us up about like having a 5-bedroom voucher. I told them, hey, honestly, we can't help you right now because we only have a 3-1 and a 4-1. So they said, I said, would you be interested in would you be against giving me information so we have something in the future? We would definitely hit you up and contact you. Is that okay? They're like, yeah, I'm not against that. Here's my information. So now I know if I get a 5-bedroom under contract and I close it, I hit this person, they might be interested because they already have contact with me. But that comes from me being fast when it comes to responses and also having the right team in place, right? Because this person came through them and I responded like this, right? It is a numbers game. Because you have a viewing and you are showing, a mass showing, and you have 100 people see it or 10 people see it, it's probably gonna be like 1% that actually converts, like to actually become a tenant. Maybe 25% will actually go and fill out an application, and 1% of the applications will actually be qualified. And a big tip that I could say is try to be personable. Do not be someone that's just going to text them. You never actually contact them and verbally talk to them on the phone because these people want to feel like they're actually talking to a person as opposed to just someone that's going to house them and they don't even know who it is. Like they never see the landlord, none of that shit. The human touch is very essential, but you want to make sure that this person's not just bullshitting you and calling you all the time and being overly needy because that's already a sign that this is someone that may not make sense for you to work with, right? Unless you want to just direct them all to the property manager and they have to deal with that bullshit, but then that might be a headache for you and or the property manager, and then they might just redirect the energy to you and feel like they're you're at fault, right? When in reality you're not. Find a timeline, make sure that this person is interested in moving soon, but you don't my bad. You don't want someone that wants to move tomorrow. If you have someone that says, oh, like I'm trying to move out this weekend, if you really think that's a good thing, you might be on the wrong track. Simply because this person could be have got evicted, and that's the reason why they move out. And you don't want someone that got evicted, right? Because what do you get evicted for? So be careful with people that are too desperate, right? Way too desperate. Like I said, make sure this person to blow up your phone, be personable, have the human touch. Because I literally had a conversation with a potential tenant that's going to see the property this weekend, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're the first landlord that actually like talked on the phone with me. Like it actually feels good to have a conversation." I was like, "Yeah, like we're both humans. I would just want to see if anything makes sense or if it makes sense for us to work together. But obviously, I'm gonna get on the phone with you and just talk to you because at the end of the day, we're both humans, right?" And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I appreciate that so much." So it's like now this person's like a hot lead to go to the show. Contact their current landlord. Make sure they're not trashing the house. Make sure that they're punctual, not blowing them up. The landlord would typically be straight up. If they're not, then you just have to do it through a more thorough screening process, and it ultimately comes down to your best judgment. But usually, seeing their current house and the pictures will show you if the property is well maintained, and they contact their landlord to see if everything's solid. Let's see. Let me see. Okay. How to do some bonus stuff. You want to go and create a referral incentive. Just because someone that is on these websites may not be qualified, but they may know someone that's qualified that is not on these websites. So if you create a referral incentive, say, hey, if you only have say they have a 5-bedroom voucher, but you need someone that needs a 3, but like, hey, if you know someone that has a 3-bedroom voucher and you're able to connect with us and it actually works out, well, we have referral incentives for people that help us out. And they'll be like, but don't tell them exactly how much it is. You can say it can range from I don't know, fucking $100 to $1,000, something like that, just for connecting us up with someone that actually works out. So you could go and have someone that you believe is qualified because they're getting referred to you, and you judge that referral based on the qualification of the first person. Take the information of everybody that you have. I literally have a spreadsheet that has everybody's information because, like I said, you may not be able to help someone now, but you can help them later, and you have the information. You can contact them because if you look at just your messages and try to find that number, that conversation, if you work a lot or you have run a business, you're gonna lose your conversations. They need to be stored. There's 2 ways of treating showings. God damn, I'm ripping and I'm fucking. I'm sick of shit. But high volume, low quality, high quality, low volume. Right? There's 2 ways. You're either going to have one of these two. However, they have pros and cons each. Right? If you have high volume, you have a lot of people seeing it, which means that there are more people will be intrigued to see it because of obviously pre-selection and people saying, "Oh my god, why does some people want to view this house? Like, what's so special about it?" Go and you might get a qualified lead off of that. Or you go high quality, low volume. You have a match showing maybe only 2 people pull up, but maybe one of the 2 are both qualified, right? Both work. You just have to be wary of the pros and cons of each. Only host open showings, mass showings. Do not do individualized showings. Reason why is because someone could be bullshitting you, and you put your property manager out there. They had to drive 20 minutes, stay there for an hour, just for the person to say, "Oh, I'm just going to think about it." Wasted the whole time. Have a mass showing. Tell a person, look, if you want to see this property, there's a mass showing on Saturday from 1 to 2, and or say open showing. Don't say mass because you don't want them to feel like it's not personable. Just say like, or just don't use the word mass. Uh, it's not that big of a deal, but I just don't use it. Open showing, right? Pull up, and this is the time frame. This is the day. This is the time. They pull up, and they're really interested. They'll pull up, but you at least get more leads through the door in comparison to doing private showing for one person, and that person doesn't convert. Frame yourself as the authority. Do not let this person treat you like their homeboy, not their homegirl, like the friend, the coworker, the cousin, because they will just walk all over you, right? Make sure they understand that they are living in your house. This is your property, and they need to respect it the same way that they would respect the house that they own. So make sure this person doesn't blow you up. Say, hey, you know what? I can't accept calls out of the blue. You'd have to contact the property manager. I am able to help you, but like I said, I just cannot take calls out of the blue, or I can't respond to messages right now for the next 3 hours. Make this person understand that you're the authority, but you also want to be respectful. Don't be a piece of shit. So make sure you're an authority. Like I said, don't allow them to just call you whenever out of the blue. They call you out of the blue, set the tone, be like, hey, you know what? I can't accept calls like this out of the blue. Be respectful. Make sure that they don't hit you up for fucking everything. Like, oh, how do you turn on the lights or some bullshit? Or how do I do XYZ that has nothing to do with you? Like, how do I replace a fucking HVAC? Like, that has nothing to do with you. Or replace some light bulb. Like, contact the property manager, right? Or if this person's trying to push you to do stuff for the property when they haven't even been screened in. I had this lady that was like, oh, well, actually, I want this glass door removed because like someone could break it and then kick down the door. And this person hadn't even done an application. So, hey, you know what? I would love to do that if it made sense for both. If after all the process that we did, I would love to potentially do that if after we went through the entire process and it made sense for both of us to help each other out. Make sure they know they have to go through the process of getting screened, aka going through the application. And alongside that, let them know that it's a potential that you might consider doing that judgment if it makes sense. Because you have to go and do the application. So then if you don't tell them that, they're not going to do the application, and they're going to act like you're a piece of shit for not wanting to accommodate them, which you shouldn't be accommodating them if they're not even your fucking tenant. So, the next part. Let's see. Let's see. Boom. Oh, the reality of Section 8 tenants. Some could be good. It ultimately comes down to the screening process, like I said. Everyone says that they're bad, but in reality, they just had bad experiences because it was their fault of not screening the person properly. Like I said, you need to make sure you check their income, their credit, their background checks, make sure they don't have any felonies, big misdemeanors, crimes, time in prison, obviously stuff like that, murders. You want to make sure these people are not only nice and respectful people, but the legal side backs them too and it qualifies them. There are good people. You need good screening. If someone says they're all bad people, it was their fault. I understand that they just did not screen things properly. The average tenant stays in the house for 5.8 years, right? So 5 years and 8 months or longer, right? So you're not having some quick turnaround where a client or not a client, a tenant moves in for 6 months and they want to move out, right? They want to break their lease. So you're getting rent for a very solid amount of time. It's guaranteed. And also, it takes a long time to get these housing vouchers, so these people don't want to lose them. So they're not just going to go and trash your house just because, unless they're a piece of shit and they're just sitting on their voucher waiting for someone to come and help them. Just make sure it's all about the screening process of everything I said previously. See, boom. Look out for people who don't want to do an upfront deposit. I had this lady say, oh, I don't do upfront deposits and I have a 5-bedroom voucher, but I want to have a 7-bedroom house. You're asking for way too damn much and you're not going to put a deposit and you want me to do accommodations for you? Not going to happen because your 5-bedroom voucher is not going to pay for 7 bedrooms worth of rent, right? So she wanted accommodations, like I said previously, make sure you stay the authority and also understand that you are the authority. So, and they say they want to do an upfront deposit, which shows that they're not serious about it. And alongside that, they're being stingy. That just tells you everything you need to know about them as a potential tenant. If this person doesn't want to pay fucking $500 for deposit, they're gonna fuck shit up, bro. Like, just don't even negotiate with them if they don't want to do a deposit. Because this person was looking for a house, right? And I hadn't responded because I fucked up on the process. Like I said, I went and I marketed before we closed, and then we had some complications, and I didn't know we were gonna close, so I didn't respond to this person. And then they were still looking for a house because they didn't get it in, even though they said like, oh, I already found a house a week or once I responded. So then I hit them back again about a different unit, and they said it didn't work out. And I didn't ask them why, but I'm sure it's because they didn't want to fucking do it on front deposit and they expect people to make accommodations for them, which people are not going to do. Look out for bad credit, not low credit. People think that bad credit and low credit are the same thing. They're not. Bad credit is someone that has collections, repos, they have a bunch of late payments. Though that is bad credit. Low credit is if someone's like maybe not taking the credit seriously enough. They just haven't built it correctly. That's fine. If someone has low credit, that's like, I don't know, a 580, or they're building it up, or they have some 20% utilization. That's not that bad. But if someone has bad credit, you got to just be aware of that and make sure that you understand everything that's in the report. Like I said, collections, that means they can't pay someone. Repos, really bad. You have to get to a really bad point in your life for someone to come and repossess your car, repossess something, right? Income verification, make sure someone in their house has a job. Like, say it's just a girl that's applying, but then her husband has a job, you should be fine. Make sure that they have the job actively, some sort of household income. They need some sort of household income because although Section 8 pays most of it, they still have to pay a certain amount, right? Do not look for anyone that's trying to move in very soon, like tomorrow, and that's super desperate, right? I said that previously, just because it's usually for bad reasons, right? Avoid people that do not want to do the screening process. There are some people that will literally be like, "Oh, I don't want to do this process. Can I just see the house and like move in?" It's like, no, like you need to go through this process. Everyone has to go through this process. So they don't go through this process, do not consider them as a person for becoming a tenant. People without a voucher that claim that they do, or they're going to get one. If they do not have their voucher in their hand and they're ready and it shows the exact bedrooms that you are providing, do not fuck with them, right? Do not, because usually it's a bunch of bullshit. You want to make sure someone literally has a voucher like ready to go in their hands, everything. If they don't, do not consider them, right? Unless this person is stacked up on dough and they could pay you without having the voucher in place, right? So they're in a position where they could pay you just like a normal traditional rental, but you just got to be careful with that because then they may pay the first month and never pay you again. So, and you're still responsible for that mortgage. So yeah, if you follow this process to a T, which is simply just connecting with the property manager, doing that post, getting people's information, scheduling a mass showing, have people go through, have them do a process with the with the property manager, you should be able to find a tenant very well. There are a lot of bad people when it comes to the Section 8 industry in regards to finding like tenants and them being a tenant. However, that comes with everything, right? There's good apples and bad apples in every single situation. You just have to make sure you do the screening properly to make sure that you don't waste your time and also potential money and energy. Just because there are some people that just want to take advantage of the system, right? They literally don't give a fuck. So if you follow this entire process, you should be fine to find a tenant. If you have any questions, you can deadass just reach out to me. We have a whole database I can show you how we find tenants. Obviously, I can't show you all the tenants information. However, you can follow the same similar process. It's literally the process that we follow to make sure we are not dealing with people that are pieces of shit because that are bad tenants. Just because someone's a nice person does not mean that they're going to be a good tenant. They're going to be a nice person and have 3 fucking murders on their report. You still going to take the person just because they were nice to you on the phone? Absolutely not. Moreover, if you have any questions, you can DM me on Instagram. Leave a comment down below. Follow this process to a T. Get your tenant in place, and also make sure that you set aside some money in case you cannot find a tenant, so you could pay for the mortgage comfortably, or not even comfortably, but just ensure that you can pay it securely without having your pockets hurt too much, right? You're going to probably have to front, unless you have a tenant ready at closing, at least 1 month of the mortgage because of obviously vacancies, unless the person moves in really fast and gives you a deposit, and then their deposit covers that mortgage, right? that first or second mortgage payment. But the goal is to just get a tenant as fast as possible, so you can turn around, get your Section 8 landlord paycheck as soon as possible. But nonetheless, this is another very, very crucial video. So I hope you watch the entire thing and look out for more videos about this or just Section 8 in general in the future.